Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers, and this is video 5 in our series called Industrial Grunge on our book here. And we're using a kit of the same name called Industrial Grunge by Pink Monarch. Now, there'll be a link to their Etsy shop down below. If this looks like I don't have that much stuff out, it's because I don't. I've already done this video once. The page is in the book and everything is done except the video was corrupt. So we're going to do it again. And, well, not we, but I'm going to do it again. And then we are going to pretend to put it in the book, but we're not really. And also the pages that I'm using are pages that I'm not going to be using in the book, so they're kind of extra ones. So I'm going to show you, let's see, what am I going to show you? I don't really want to show you the finished page. So what we're going to do, let me see if I can do this without showing it to you. Not really. Let me find a piece of paper here. Okay. All right. So we're going to be working on page 5, and we're going to do the back cover. And the reason I have this is because it's the version of this that comes in the kit that we're not going to be using because it's too bright. You could probably take your ink and darken it down a little bit. I would maybe use vintage photo and then maybe a little bit of black to kind of make it look a little more like this, a little grungy. You still want it to look different. You wouldn't want it to be the same. Anyway, I'm rattling on. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to cover the back. And in the first time around, I had already done that because it's just exactly like doing this one. So this is the back. The thing you want to watch is the direction of the numbers. So if you were to, this is the spine. If you were to take the book like this, as if you were going to open it this way, the numbers are going to be right side up, and the same thing on the cover. Okay, so you want to keep track of that. Now, when we made the other page, we used the scrap that was left over from making the page. So we had this long part and the part here to work with. And so that's why I'm using this, but we'll have a full page to work with, which doesn't really make a difference here nor there. This is going to be the paper that we put on the page itself, and I'm going to show you the measurements and everything, and we're going to work on page 4, which is exactly the same size and everything as page 5, but it's the one that's underneath the spinner. So this is page 5. Okay, well, that was page 5. So this is page 5. This is what we're going to do. Okay, it's a double belly band with a writing card and a magnet and a brad. So it's fairly easy to do. We're going to get our measurements. I didn't mean to do that. I had it backwards. We're going to use the measurements and stuff from page 4 because it's the exact size as page 5. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need is paper for the back. I apologize, in the other video I had that out done and inked. But it doesn't matter. I'm not going to ink anything on this, and I'm not going to actually glue it to the page because this is just going to be a basically a demo for you. It will be on the page, so you'll be using papers that you like, okay, or papers that you want to be in your book. So the first thing we're going to do So we're going to measure for the page. Let's do it here. Let's see, where does this one fold? This one folds way up there. Okay. If I was smart, I would use a page that I'm going to use for this, and then I'll already, oh no, because I'm going to be gluing stuff to it. Okay, so let's do this. Yeah, I can't believe that the recording came out. I've got the last little bit, but that was because that was the part that I recorded after I had recorded 3/4 of it, the video. Excuse me. And then I yanked the cord out, the mic cord out with my foot by accident. And the software that I'm using, once you pull the mic out, it just stops the recording. And then you have to restart the software. You can't just start where you left off. Anyway, so it actually corrupted that whole first half, or the whole first 8/10. And so only the last 10 minutes were good. Okay, so we're going to cut this. Well, this is the same size as the back cover too, so that should give us our same amount of scraps. Okay. So let's see if I can find. Where did I mark? Oh, there it is. Okay, let's do this one. Just trying to figure out about the scraps. And no, I'm not wearing the same pajamas for a week. I'm actually filming all these videos in one day. So if you want to sit down and make one of these in a day, you can. Maybe 2 days. So I did some yesterday, and now it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Let me see if I can find my other mark. Okay. Oh, there it is. And that will give us our page. Okay, so there's our page, or a paper for our page. And so this is all we need now, and we can put the book away. So the next thing we need to do is cut the belly bands. So we're going to use this as if they were the scraps. So we're going to use the width of the numbers, and we're going to use 2 of them. Let's see. I think we should be able to do it with this. this version is going to be easier because, or shorter, because I just got through doing it and now I know what I'm doing. Ha ha. Yeah. That is kind of funny, isn't it? Okay. So now we are going to ink, okay, ink the page, ink these once we get them cut, don't forget. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have the edges fold under, and then you'll be able to get a bigger writing card because you won't have anything glued to the edge of the page. Okay, and so what we're going to do, just to make it easier, we're going to start right here and we're going to make a fold here, and we're going to come over here and we're going to make a fold here. And that will wrap it around. In fact, last time I made it a little too tight. So actually this one I do want to keep at the edge of the 7. This one I'm just going to move it out just a smidge. Oops. And get our scoreboard. We're going to score it right where I made the marks, which is right here. And then over here. It's going to be right here. And that'll give you approximately a 1/2 inch on either end. Okay, so then you're going to fold it back, and you're going to fold this back. Okay, now the other one's different, so we're going to wait and do that in just a second. So all we have to do is ink this, and then we're going to just hook it where the bend is, just hook it behind, come to the other side and hook it behind, and then check it for the size, and that size looks good. Okay, it's not too tight. It's not bending the page up too much because you're going to glue it, and that'll take care of it right when we glue it to the page. And then, and it's not too loose to have a whole bunch of, you know, slack to where the card isn't going to look right. Okay, so then we're going to flip it over. We're going to eyeball the center. You're going to measure. So just measure to the center of the paper. I'm just teasing because I hardly ever measure to get the center. Wherever the center is of the page, put the center of the band. Line it up at the same place. So Okay, and just open it out. This is just like when we do an envelope stack and we're gluing the edges on. And it's also like when we do a regular belly band, we're just not gluing it to the front. And while the glue's still wet, of course, we'll double check that nothing moved, in case we need to move it a little bit. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so now we're going to make another belly band. And the second belly band is going to be exactly the same as the first one, except we're only going to fold it under on the bottom. On the top, we're going to cut it even with the page. Okay? So, we're going to, let's leave this one and fold it under and have the 3 at the bottom. So let's measure from here. Now look at that. Right at the 1. Because remember, we're not tucking it under up here. So we're just going to cut this off at the 1. Okay. So on this one, once again, we're going to score it. And we're going to fold it under. And we're going to glue it. Just like we did the one just a second ago. Fold it under. I'm going to burnish it. Okay. Now, this one, excuse me, I have a frog in my throat and I have nothing to drink. My cup is empty. So in this particular case, we're not going to do it in the center. That's boring, boring, boring. We're going to put the number right over this number here. And the numbers are going to be up right here. For some reason in your mind's eye, it makes, if you put these facing this way, it looks like they're right side up as well. Don't ask me, I don't know why. Okay, so we're going to take this. It looks like this one's a smidge short. It should even up. Oh no, there we go. It should be even with the end of the page. So it looks like I made this one a smidge short. But that's okay. So we're going to flip this under. Make sure we get it straight. Sorry about all the noise. It's a Sunday. Okay. So just like the other one, we're going to open it out and flip it. Remember to ink all these bands. Don't forget. That's why this one looks so funny, because it's not inked. Okay, so now you have this. So now to hold this shut and to hold the card in, we're going to use a brad and a magnet. Now, all we're going to do is punch a hole. Let me rephrase that. This is going to be white on the back. So we don't want that. So if you want to, you can cover the back. I'm going to glue mine right here so that it only opens this far. So I don't need to do that. All I did, because we have the brad in here, you're going to have the little feet. So what I did was I cut out one of the numbers and covered the feet, and then just inked the back like this. And I'll show you the brad in just a second. And so that way the little bit that you can see, which you don't really see. And I actually do this all the way down, and I ink it on all the way down on the edges, because you don't want the white edges, okay? Because as you can see, since I haven't inked any of this, you can see the white core of the paper. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to make a hole for the brad. The brad is the little piece that has the little feet that's spread out. Let me grab one. I'm just not going to cover the feet so that I can retrieve it back out of the page. So I always go ahead and start the feet just a little bit. It's easier to do it now. I push it back together. It's easier to do it now than it is once it's through the paper, but that's just me. Okay, so we're going to get the crocodile. And we're going to mark a, let's mark a spot. Let's see. I'm going to say right about there. You're probably going to want to measure. My magnets are sticking to everything. And you're going to take on the crocodile, you're going to put it on the smaller hole setting and punch a hole where the dot is. Okay. Or if you have a, you know, another puncher that makes a hole that is small enough that your brad's not going to be really loose. I think I might have been off by just a little bit. And you're just going to take your brad and stick his little feet through the hole. And then you're going to bring it this way. And you're going to open it up. Then flip it over and push down on it. And that will flatten the feet out. Okay? Just like that. Now, in the one that I did before that's on the page, that's the real one, I used a number, one of these squares, and I glued it over the top of this to hide this, because you will be opening it this far. So you will be able to see the back of this, and so you want to cover this up. If you want, you can go ahead and just cover this on the back with another one of these strips, even if it's just from here up. That's totally up to you, whichever way you want to do it. I'm not going to put a piece of paper over this because I want to take this brad back out and reuse it. Okay, then to hold everything closed, you're just going to take a magnet, and the magnet is going to be attracted to the brad. Everybody loves brad, right? Like in Rocky Horror. Picture show? Okay, so then you're going to flip it over, and the magnet is going to go right to where the brad is. It's going to stick to it. And then that's going to hold everything shut. The magnet's going to pull this shut, and that's going to hold your card in. Okay? So if we were doing this for real, you'd take a piece of Scotch tape and put it over this to hold it in place. That's all. Easy peasy. Okay? So now, for now, well, it doesn't matter. I'll take that off. Okay. So now, all we need is the card. Piece of cake. Just cut a piece of the manila folder, scrap. Make sure you don't get the part with the name brand on it. And you're going to be able to cut it from about, because remember, there's no glued down part on the edge, so you don't have to take into account for the glued area, because there isn't any. So you can go to right about there. Oops. Now this is just a piece of scrap. I haven't double checked whether this is cut straight or not. I just grabbed it out of the pile. So you're going to make your card about this wide. Let's make the width. It's almost the right height. Okay. Then I made the card off camera because we've made cards, you know, in this video before, or in this series before. Okay, so you're just going to want to not do that. We're just doing the height. Well, we don't want the card as high as the top of the page. We just want it down just a little bit. So it's almost like we were cutting for the paper. Okay. And then we're going to put paper on the front and the back of the card. The front is going to be decorative, whatever kind of paper you want. And then on the back, I used the paper that had the grid. This paper, this page, that had the grid on it, or has the grid on it. The graph paper that has the white kind of grungied up on it. Because that way, no matter which way you put it, when you cut it, you've always got the lines going the right way. And that way your card will be, your card will be correct no matter what. So let's cut this down to size. And so then whatever paper you want to cover your card with, let's double check the size. It doesn't matter what you use. Okay, slides right down in there. And it isn't bigger than the page. It's just about right. Okay, and then we're gonna paper the front. Say, if you wanted to make it look hidden, you could use this. But let's say this. I'm going to cover the card with this. Now, don't forget, you're going to have to ink this card. Let me show you how. And you're going to have to ink the paper on the front and the back. So, let me get my... To ink this, you're going to ink the card just like we did when we made the book itself. you're going to ink the edge all the way around. And you're going to do it on both sides. Don't forget, it's a card, not a page. Okay, so you're going to be able to see both sides. That's what I'm saying. So you go along the edge and distress it, grunge it up, because the paper's going to come to here, but the width of this is the width of that. So try not to do what I just did there. If it looks like you're making just circle marks, if you catch it real quick and go back over it, sometimes you can get it to where it doesn't look like circles. But you see how dark that one spot is? You can either tap it off on here, or you can start farther in, even though you won't be able to see it, and then come out. And you see then that dark circle is up in here. Okay, so we're going to continue around and do the whole thing on both sides. All right? Then you're going to cut your paper, just like we did for the page, just like we did this one. You're just going to measure. This page isn't big enough. Or you could, for something different, you could make the card paper go all the way to the edge on both sides and leave a bigger gap on the top and the bottom. That would be kind of cool. Okay, so just measure the paper, leave it in just a little bit and down just a little bit, just like we did. And then mark it. Let me see what I've got. Okay. So you're just going to put it here. Just like you were doing a page. And you're going to mark it here, just a little bit inside the edge. And then you're going to mark it here, just a little bit inside the edge. And then you're going to cut out the paper. And you're going to do that for your decorative side, and then you're going to do that for your writing side. All right? And then at that point, I put you on pause, and I went and did that. Okay? Now, at this point, we're basically done. We've got our card. Let me show you. So now we're at this point right here, except for it being glued in. Oops. I'm upside down. Okay, so we're basically at this point, we're just not glued in. We've got our magnet and our brad, right? We've got our cross piece. Everything is inked. Get your magnet on the back. You've got your writing card covered with paper inside here. Okay. And then all that's left is to take this and to glue it into the book. So then when you get done, I lied. Don't forget to take a dot of glue and glue it on the back here, or do a little thing to glue here and glue this down. I almost forgot to tell you, because that way, unless you've papered the back of this all the way down and you want people to be able to open it, but it's a little awkward to open it all the way to get the card out. It's kind of silly, actually. Not that I'm calling you silly if you decide to do it that way. Actually, I think I just did. But anyway, so just put a little bit of glue underneath there so it only opens this far. That's all the farther it needs to open. Okay? And then take the card out to make your life easier. And then just glue this part. This is your paper. Glue your paper to your page. And then you'll be done. Okay, now let me show you. This is the one that we finished in the imaginary video. And it opens like this. And the card comes out like this, just like in the one we just did. And then this is the card. This is the paper I chose. And this is the back with the graph paper on the back so that you can write on it. And that's it. That's it for the page. Doesn't take very long. Once you get the hang of the, you know, the crisscross and gluing it, then you're golden. You know, once you figure out that you can fold it under and then you don't have to take into account for the glue, then you just want to make sure that the belly band going this way isn't too loose. If you find that it's too loose, just make a little bit smaller card and slide it in there, and that will take up the slack. Make sure that any second card that you make does not fall between the brad and the magnet, because I'm not sure that the magnet will be able to hold 2 layers of manila folder and 4 layers of paper, because each one's covered on both sides. So that's 4 pieces of paper. Okay, so I was thinking about doing that for this one, and I may still do it. I've got a piece of manila folder cut almost to the right size. All I have to do is cut it down a little bit. So I may try it. And then in the next video, I'll let you know how it turns out. Okay, because I'll show it to you. So that's all for this video. And I will see you in the next video. And that'll be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye-bye.